Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tying Dotted Notes Triplets. We're going to mash up, mix up every single cliche that we've looked at so far, and we're going to dot them. We're going to tie them together. We're going to throw in the triplets. This is probably going to be the most intense rhythmically so far. So here you can see we have two measures. So we've got first measure. We got our downbeats here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our second measure, 2, 2, 3, 4. All right, so here we go. I'm just going to write some rhythms here, and we're just going to talk about them. Yep, okay. So our very first tricky rhythm is going to be an eighth note with a quarter note. Dotted, so a dotted quarter note. Hope you can see that well. So we know that this is going to take up half of this box here, and we know that this quarter note is going to take up this whole box, and this dot here is going to be equal to half of the note value, which is a quarter, so that's an eighth. So that eighth really helps occupy this second half of this downbeat, and the quarter gets this. So this is a 2-beat cliche. You've seen this one before. So da da. Okay. Now in our next section here, the third downbeat, we're going to have the exact same thing. So I'm going to give you an eighth note with a dotted quarter. So right here you would have da 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 da. Okay. But I wanted to tie some dots together, some dotted notes together. So in our next measure, we are going to have a dotted quarter note, and we're going to tie this information together. Yep. Okay, and now we're going to, so this quarter note, we know it takes up this downbeat, and because of this eighth, the dot here, it's going to take up half of this second downbeat. So right here. So to occupy this next space, we're going to put an eighth note. Okay, so now all this is complete. All right, and then our last bit here, we're going to have an eighth note with our dotted quarter. Okay, so this would sound like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da. Again. Da 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 da. A little slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da. Alright, let's look at another one. Okay, so this one starts out easy enough. We've just got 3 quarter notes. But then here's where it gets a little tricky. So we're going to have a 16th note. So we know that a 16th note, if we chop this downbeat, this fourth box here, we would have to chop it into 4. Alright, so if we chopped it into 4, this takes up 1/16, but we still have 3/16 remaining. So we can give ourselves an eighth note here, and dot it. So this 16th is going to take up the first one. This eighth is going to take up the next two, and this 16th dot here is going to take up the last 16th. Okay. Now we want to tie it to another dotted note. So we have a dotted quarter. We know it takes this up and half of this one, but we want to tie these now. So this is like going to be a quarter plus an eighth, and an eighth plus a 16th. So this is a pretty complex grouping of values here. Now we're going to, so we know that this quarter takes up this quarter box, this eighth takes up half of this one. I want to take up this last eighth here with 2/16. Okay, so we've got this complete now. And our last one, we're going to have a quarter note, and we're going to have an eighth rest with an eighth note, and we're going to tie these even together. So we got a 16th tied to a quarter. Okay, so let's see what this would sound like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bum, 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 bum. Alright, I'm going to give you 4 taps per box to indicate like 16ths, just so you can see the 16ths happening. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Bum, 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 rest, bum. Yep, one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bum, 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 bum. Next one, we've got a whole note here. We know that's going to take up these 4. Then we're going to tie it to a 16th cliche here. Alright, so we got 4 16ths, but I want a whole note plus 1 16th. So we're going to come here, tie it there. So this would sound like bum, 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 bum. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, bum, 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 bum. So it's like just hanging on just a little bit. 3, 4. Bum, 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 bum. Alright, so we've got this here. Now we have 3 more beats that we want to take up. We're going to now add 2 eighth notes, and we're going to tie that 16th to that 8th. Then we're going to have our cliche we were using a while ago, a 16th with a dotted 8th. And we are going to tie that to this cliche, an 8th with 2 16ths. Okay. Alright, so whole note tied to this 16th. So now we've got 2 16ths in here, but then we've got this 16th tied to an 8th. Got this 8th here, that's all complete. This cliche tied to this cliche. So we've got 3 ties here. Alright, let's see what this sounds like. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, da, 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 da. I'll give you the 16th taps. 3, 4, da, 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 da. A little faster, just to see how it feels. 1, 2, 3, 4, da, 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 da. Alright, let's try the next one. Alright guys, same exercise, but I've now taken it down to just 1 measure, because we're going to get a little crazy here, and 1 measure will be enough. Alright, so we know that we can cut each one of these boxes into 8ths or 16ths. Our first, we're going to have a 16th rest, so we know that there's still 3 16ths here to occupy, so we're going to do that with a dotted 8th note. We are going to tie that to another dotted 8th note. Now we are going to have to complete this second box, because now we have 3/16 technically, so we're going to add a 16th here at the end. So now all this is complete, but we're going to tie this 16th to another 16th note right here, and we're going to basically have the same thing as here, a 16th rest with a dotted 8th note. Well, here we have a 16th note with a dotted 8th note. Same thing. And we are going to tie that to a quarter note. So here, it's kind of interesting to notice we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notes. But if you look, we've tied these together, so that's really one note. We've tied these together, that's one note. And we've tied these together, that's one note. So really, this is only 3 notes. But we use 6 notes to represent it. Here we go. This is what this will sound like. Yep, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Da, da, da. Again, slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da, da, da. I'll give you your 16th note taps. So 3, 4, da, da, da. Again, 3, 4, da, da, da. All right, let's do some with triplets now. Okay, so we know that we can cut these boxes into 3, triplet, triplet. So the first one, we're going to have the classic, just triplet. Our 3 to indicate that it's a triplet. We are going to tie this to a quarter note. Okay, so we've got our triplet here. The last triplet actually gets tied to a quarter. Now we've got 2 triplet rests with a triplet here at the end, 3 to indicate. We've got this bluesy one here. Tying these together, and then we're tying these. So if you notice, we've got this last triplet tied to this first one, but this first one is tied to this second one. So technically all these notes here will be tied together. Yep. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da. Yeah. Let's look at that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da. With some triplet taps. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, da 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 da. Again, 3, 4, da 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 da. So da 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 da. All right, and our last one, we're going to have this cliche that we left out. Sorry about that. And repeated. And we're going to tie these together. So this would be da, 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 da. But when we tie it together, da, 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 da. Alright, and then after that, we're going to have this one that kind of just sounds like a sharp, like a 16th or something. And we'll tie those together. And this last one, we'll just do our classic blues. So this will sound like this. 3, 4, da, 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 da. Again, 3, 4, da, 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 da. Okay, I'll give you this with the triplet taps. So 3, 4, da, 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 da. A little slower. 3, 4, da, 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 da. So da, 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 da. Thank you very much.